Welcome back, everybody. This is episode 27 of the next generation of superstars. We are very grateful to have Blake Shoddie here, who is running back at Benedictine University, and he's originally from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Absolutely, man. So tell us a little bit how you really found your passion for football growing up.
So it started with first I'll say I feel like it's kind of in my blood. Like my dad played football, he played at the collegiate level. So but I started playing when I was around 7. Just going out there being aggressive. Then slowly as I started to play it more, I just slowly began to see how much I liked it. And also just in the town that I grew up in, Tuscaloosa, being right down the street from the University of Alabama, everybody knows Alabama's a powerhouse. So being an Alabama fan, that really made it no better. But other than that, it's just the more I played it, the more it's just gotten closer to me.
I love it. That's awesome, man. And then, yeah, especially the environment. And what was more of that, how did that community support you back home when you really started taking more seriously?
Well, as younger, when I was younger, my mom, she was always at every game, taking me to every practice. My dad, as I got a little bit older, around like 9 or 10 years old, my dad was actually my coach at one point. So that, that was pretty cool to experience. A lot of people don't get to experience that with their parent. But yeah, that was pretty cool. Then as I got older, I ended up moving closer to my dad. And so I was able to train with him more. And my family, and more of my family was able to come to more of my games as I got older.
I love it. That's awesome, man. And what about now that you're playing at the collegiate level, what has been some of those skills you've learned from football that you can apply to the rest of your life? Being a student athlete right now at the collegiate level.
One thing I'll say, adversity. Everybody is if you're touching the football field, you got to be good at something, no matter if it's knowing the plays or, just being skillful at your position. So it's always going to be somebody that can do something better than you. So you just got to be able to learn how to handle that adversity and continue to push along with that adversity, but just accept it how it is. And you just got to come back even harder and just continue to push.
That's awesome. No, man, that's so true. Adversity it's with everything, right? And that's a huge skill to understand of how to get past it and really get through those obstacles. What's been something that's helped you the most? Every person has failures or setbacks, whether it's in sport or outside of sport. What's been something that's really helped you persevere to get through that and actually have more of a comeback?
So I'll say, so I remember going into my 8th grade year, I hurt my ankle, but it was to where like I tore my growth plate in my foot, in my ankle. So I had to sit out majority of the year. And so at that time, me loving football as much as I did, that hurt me a lot.
Right.
And so just knowing that, somehow, some way I can kind of prevent from an injury like that happening again, just so I don't have to miss out on football, makes me want to like just go harder, watch what you eat, how you exercise, make sure you're doing it the right way, things of that nature like that.
100%.
Other things, just as, when I'm going into certain schools, like, the first college I attended, going into, not really being at the running back position like I thought I was getting recruited to, is moving into another position. It just, it taught me, I just felt like I had to get on the field any kind of, whatever way I can get on the field. I did my best to get on the field. So, not things going my way. You just excel at whatever position you're in, really.
I love it. No, absolutely. And I think that's so true. As to really just as that perseverance and that discipline of like, you don't want to have those setbacks of getting injured. So you have to really take care of yourself. And that was kind of going into my next question is, how do you focus on really training both, the physical aspect of making sure you're eating right in your diet and routine, as well as like the mental aspect, right? With your mental health and making sure that you have the right mindset to really attack the day every day, whether it's in season or off season. How do you really balance that out with both your physical and mental health?
So as far as mental wise, I just think back on the things that, that didn't go for me as well as I wanted them to in the season. And I kind of, just put that almost as my chip on my shoulder, and as in like, okay, I didn't do this. I got to improve in this. So let's come and attack the day. Or or let's say if I didn't get put in a position that I felt like I deserved, okay, I'll be like, okay, well, let's show these coaches that I can do this instead of just maybe putting that maybe situation on me. So therefore, that's how I handle that. As far as physical, like I said, weightlifting, that's always been a strength of mine. It's not
That's
like
awesome.
it's not like a gloat or anything. It's just like it's genetics. And I love weightlifting. Running, I know I'm a running back. Sometimes running comes a little bit hard, but I try to do my best at it. Definitely.
Right.
But yeah, that's
awesome. No,
yeah.
man, that's great. That's great, man. That's awesome, Blake. And what's been one of your most memorable career moments? Whether it's been in your youth or even now, more recently, playing at this collegiate level. What's been one of your memorable career moments that you really look back and would like to reflect on?
Let me see. Okay. So I'll probably say so. I didn't really start. I kind of played bounce from like other positions my whole life. So when I played Little League, I kind of bounced from O-line, D-line, fullback, O-line, D-line, fullback. And so I didn't really start playing the whole full season of running back until like my junior year in high school. So, but I wasn't really kind of that starter still. So once my senior year came, I knew like, okay, I'm the starter. I knew it's my job. This is my position. I gotta hold it down. So my senior year, a lot of key injuries, went down. We had a lot of key guys go down as far as offensive linemen, and so that kind of made it a little bit harder on the offense itself, just because your offensive line is your foundation. Without an offensive line, you can't really. So that put the weight on my shoulders a little bit more than usual. So I just had to really just deal with it and bear with it as best as I can. And even though the season didn't really turn out the way we wanted to, my senior year, I was still blessed and able to, win the Offensive Player of the Year award, and it meant a lot to me because I knew the work I put in going up into the season, the amount of running, the amount of weight I lifted, just the things I prepared myself to do each and every day. I knew, it was a big accomplishment for me.
That's awesome. So you won that award, and that was in high school?
Yeah, that was in high school.
That's great, man. Well, congratulations. I mean, any accomplishment is something that you can always look back on and appreciate, right? And be grateful for that. So that's incredible. What about more of like the mentorship side? Has there been any coaches or mentors that have really stood out to you that's kind of helped you as you pave your path in the sport?
Coaches, I wouldn't say like there's always been that one specific coach or mentor, but I say the person who's kind of just impacted my football career the most, probably my dad. Me and my dad played the same position. So, he knows a lot of the in and outs of the position, as far as working out. He's been my first trainer always, if I could really, really, if I could really, really say there's been a true mentor for me, it would be my dad. Even though he's on my tail a lot, I know it's at the end of the day, he loves me. And I know, he just wants to see me do better. And, I can't really get too mad about that. It just much love and appreciation.
That's awesome. No, that's huge. To be able to have that father figure too, as not only your mentor, but he's also coached you and trained you and really helped you kind of sharpen your craft and skills. It's incredible to have that support.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, kind of going towards your teammates, how has that been? Has there been any funny stories or anything that you kind of look back on and love to share with your teammate? I know there's probably a lot, but has there been anything that really stand out to you?
Yeah. So when I was in high school, my junior year, the team that I was on was very comical, I'll say. Like, I felt like we needed our own football show. That's how comical it was. Like, even though the things weren't happening on the field that we were like, in the locker room, we definitely had a good time. So I don't know if you're familiar with the show Wild 'N Out with Nick Cannon, but so we used to do they had the one segment where they'll do the rap battle at the end. So we'll be in a room sometime, it got multiple teammates standing up on the benches and stuff like that. Everybody, they're rap battling. Like,
that's awesome.
It'll be just like, this will be times like right before practice, and we'll just be doing this, and it'll be like going on 15, 20 minutes. Another time, I don't know what made them think of this or do this, but there was one time they were getting belts, and they was just like, we kind of had, our locker room wasn't like fully a locker room. It was more like a hallway, but we had lockers in it. So they were just running down like the locker room, just hitting each other with belts and stuff like that. It was crazy. It was a lot of stuff going on, but at the end of the day, I really can't, I'm glad I got to, meet those guys, and the experience that I had that year with them. It was definitely comical, and I never forget that, because I got teammates now. We still look back and talk on it to this day.
I love it. And that's something that you're going to have, forever, that bond, right? That relationship and bond that you make with those teammates, it doesn't matter what level it's at, you're always going to have that bond forever. So I think it's important to be able to cherish those good times along with it.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, Blake, there's another big point that I wanted to kind of bring up, and this is something that's been, pretty new in the past couple of years. In the summer of 2021, with the NIL coming to fruition, what was your initial reaction and thoughts when you really saw this, coming into to actually being legitimized, right? And you can actually go and monetize your brand, take advantage of it, have ownership, and really go out and get these brand deals, and especially working with us at Burst and really in this new tech space. But what has been your initial reaction to everything around NIL and how you can actually really take full control of your brand?
So to be honest, I feel like it's good. I'm glad they're doing it. Do I feel like sometimes I feel like, I don't play at that level to where those guys, to where you can get those bigger NILs, but I feel like sometimes, money is a strong component. And so the one thing I just feel about is, I hope that with money being such a strong component, I hope it doesn't take the love of the game away. And I know a lot of people still try to reach that professional level. So I hope they still, want to come and compete as if there was no NIL, to get to that next level, to get those funds. But, I'm glad that NIL is here, because, athletes from any level, they can get their name out. A lot of people don't, you don't know where people come from. So, if you're an exceptional athlete on the field, and you got some recognition, why not go and get you a couple dollars, especially if you're going through that struggle as a college student and don't have those key components to help you out. NIL, especially, let's just hitting up different brands and stuff like that, asking, hey, would you like to do a collab, blah, blah, blah. That'll really help you out in the long run.
Absolutely. No, and that's a good point, I think, because, I think it's definitely beneficial on a lot of different levels, but at the same time, you want to make sure that love of the game is still there and people are going out there and competing, and not just kind of, playing laid back and not really caring as much because, they're doing well with NIL side of things. They want to still compete. And it doesn't matter what level, whether it's D1, D2, D3, even high school level, you want to make sure you're going out there and still having that passion, for the game.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, kind of, you being part of Burst, with more of the sports tech side of things, what has been your experience so far, kind of seeing, this whole Web3 with blockchain technology and all this tied into sports? What's kind of been your initial reaction to all that stuff going on?
It's crazy how technology works, and it's still kind of it's still really the beginning, because it's so much more to come with this technology. So just seeing and knowing, like, you can make money from a metaverse and things of that nature, it's real. It's quite astonishing. But it's still a little adjusting too, just because I don't fully know the of it, but I know like the key components. And so it's still, I'm still learning a little bit, but I know it definitely will have a strong hold, like, as far as the future.
100%. No, 100%. And that's kind of what we want to do over at Burst, is really educate not only our athletes like you, but also our fans and your fans. How can this benefit all parties, right? And how is this actually going to be moving, the needle forward, and everything that's going on with sports tech, and how you can actually see that this can have more fan engagement, and now you can have more proximity to your favorite athlete, and now you can actually really just see more of a connection with everything and control of it, right? And so that's what's so huge with this technology, is that it's really, there's a huge component of engaging the fan economy, And that's what we're all trying to learn at the same time and seeing how this is all going to evolve and shift. So I think it's incredible what's going on with technology. It is crazy, but at the same time, it is tying in a lot of important factors when we all share the same love for sports.
Yep.
And then kind of speaking a little bit outside of sports, what's been some of your, I know when you have some free time on your hands, what's been some of your hobbies or passions that you really enjoy and really love to do?
So for me, I'm real family oriented, as far as friends and family. So any chance I get, I would like to spend it with friends, close friends and family, no matter if we're just chilling at somebody's house, going to the movies, bowling, anything like that. I love that. Another thing, like I said earlier, I like to work out. So whenever I feel the need or I know I need to go work out, I definitely go do that too. And that's pretty much it. A lot of, I seek high upon family, spending family time. And that's just one of my key things that I like to do a lot.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome, Blake. And we'll kind of wrap things up here shortly, but I know you've had such great accomplishments so far in your career. What's kind of like your big vision, kind of the high level, vision that you want to have right now with your career and the direction you're taking it?
So really, in all honesty, when you're younger, a lot of kids, have that aspiration of, going to the NFL, stuff like that. But, as you get older, you start to kind of see the reality of things. So as I got older, I really never had aspirations of going to the NFL or anything like that. Not really downplaying myself, but it's just not really what I had aspirations of. But at the end of the day, whenever I'm done playing football, I want to say, I did give it my best. My work definitely paid off. And I also want to just be able to, network and meet as many people as I can within the sport, no matter how we come in contact with each other, or because I know the sport of football can, it can bring so many people into your life, no matter what it is, what background they're from. And if push comes to shove, I love to play, overseas, just the experience living overseas and playing football as well. You can't at all. So
that's awesome. No, absolutely. I mean, I think there's a lot of directions you can take it, and even just having that experience, like I said earlier, it's you so many skills, right? And that, you're a prime example of this amount of skills that football has taught you that you can apply to other aspects of your life. And I think that's just incredible and all. And so, kind of wrapping up here, Blake, what's been, if you were to look back, on 3 pieces of advice or lessons, what would you, kind of pass that down and pass it forward to the next generation, kind of the youth that looks up to you?
The first thing I'll say, and it's probably the most important thing I'll say is whatever, anything you do, no matter sports, school, anything, you got to keep God first, because without God, you can't really do nothing. The second is, don't give up, no matter how adversity will hit really hard. But at the end of the day, that's why there's prayer. You gotta push through it no matter what it is, because adversity does hurt, but it pays off at the end. Once you put in the work, your work will be shown eventually at the end. And my last thing is, I'll probably say, stay hungry. Stay hungry. The hungrier you stay, the more you'll want to achieve, and the more you will achieve.
That's awesome. And I'll kind of just rephrase everything you said. You said number 1, always keep God first in everything that you do. You said number 2, don't give up and always push through adversity. And then the last one, to stay hungry. And by doing that, it's the more you'll be able to achieve in your life. Thank you so much, Blake Shoddie. This is episode 27 of the Next Generation of Superstars. Go follow him all over social media and stay tuned to him for this upcoming season in the fall. We appreciate you, man, for being on the show.
Thank you. Y'all have a good one.